Back in 1970, kind of visiting those years in my mind lately, and there's a few songs that were written that really have come back to mind because of some of the things that have happened. We got a circulating post. I forget the guy's name, but he did a beautiful post about the hands that hold the football, that hold the basketball, and the fact that it's who holds that football, who holds that basketball. The hand that holds it makes it valuable or not. And we want to put our hands. It reminded me of a song from the 70s that I love a lot, so I'm going to sing that for you. I'm going to have my bare head out now, and don't let yourself be blinded by my bald spot. Some people have complained about that. They can't. Some people down the road, they see me and they pull to the side of the road because they're blinded. And I try to be responsible with that, but it's hard for me to know how to do that in the circumstances that you face on a daily basis. So the whole idea is figuring out how to put your hand in the hand of God. Now, I am talking about that a lot these days in my sermons, and it's just really well done, the way this guy has presented it, that his dad told him. So we want to remember songs from our past, and I'm doing that. Hold your hand in the hand of the man that still the water. Yeah, put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself. You might just look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Gallilee. Well, every time I look into the holy book, I want to tremble. When I read about the part where the carpenter cleared the temple, for the buyers and the sellers were no different fellas than what I profess to be. And it causes me shame to know we're not the people we should be. Yeah, well, put your hand in the man you want. Oh, put your hand in the man on the sea. Take a look at yourself. You just might look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Gallilee. Well, my mama taught me how to pray before I reached the age of 40. She said, there'll come a time when there'll probably be room in heaven for you, boy. But I'm feeling kind of guilty about the number of times to do what I must do. Though we forget what he said when we figure that he'll come again. So put your hand in the hand of the man, still the water, yeah. Put your hand in the hand of the man on the sea. Take a look at yourself. You just might look at others differently. Putting your hand in the hand of the man from Gallilee. Everybody now, come on, side B. Put your hand in his hand. Don't pick up any other buddy but his hand. Put your hand in the hand of the man called the sea. Take a look at yourself and you might look at others differently. Putting your hand in the hand of the man from Gallilee, from Gallilee. Oh! 1970, what a deal. 1970 was a very strange year in many ways. I remember 1970, about that time, I was dealing with lots of international challenges, and we were having wars, and there are many things going on in our world that was frightening the world. Some people thought it was the end of the world, and some people were wrong. We don't want to think that we know what's going to happen. Now, we know that there will be things that occur as time goes by. And we know that this society we're in is changing. It's fluid. It's not stagnant or constant. Change is part of our daily life in an absolutely dynamic way. We are not only changing in our social environment, but in our cultures, in our world. We are also changing in our personality every day. God says he wants us to be transformed from one condition of glory to another by seeking him with all our heart, might, and soul. And when we do that, we will be changed. We will change daily. And in some ways, for every day, we are being raised from one condition to another, raised from a condition of blindness, of fear, of death, of confusion, raised into life and given more freedom every day. Somebody was saying on the internet, I read, that they were tired of being in prison and they didn't think the government has a right to put you in prison because of this COVID virus. And I remember when I was a chaplain at Geiger Correction Center in the 90s, I had a sermon that I preached, and the title of the sermon is when you get out of jail, don't get out of jail, and you won't go back to jail. Now that sounds kind of funny. It's kind of like look on what you cannot see, which God has shown me some depth to lately. I understand that more than I ever have. But I noticed that when people, I'd have model prisoners, they'd be behaving, they'd be taking care of each other, they'd be helping the guards out. I mean, they'd be not snitching and stuff like that, but they would be useful, and their lives turned around, and they were loving Jesus, and they were really trying and succeeding in living a whole different kind of life than what they did on the outside. They get out of jail, they go right back to the people that they had been with prior to being in jail. I did create a program where they would go to a different social group, but that's another story. The issue is that when they went to the same old social group that they'd been at for their entire life, or for whatever life they had prior to coming to jail, they went right back to what they were. And in a lot of ways, they went back to being in jail. It's your mental, what you allow. The Bible says this, says, happy is the person that does not condemn themselves by the things that they allow. So what you allow to occur in your life every single day, and the people that you're around who influence you, that you listen to, they will influence you, and you need to recognize that. And you'll be drawn into perhaps a jail, a bondage. And we don't want to be entangled again in a yoke and bondage. It's for freedom that Christ has set us free. So let's not allow ourselves to be entangled again in a yoke and bondage. Let's embrace that freedom. And that freedom is freedom from trusting in human tradition, trusting in the human understanding, trusting in that we're going to be led by people properly who do not know God, do not believe in God, and seeking God for guidance in how to navigate this world every single day of our lives. We need a centrist, we need a leader that can draw together a new platform, a platform in our new society that embraces both the elements in both of our parties that are polarized and not able to function or create harmony. Let's unite with some centrist, someone who understands how to seek God and hear his voice, and spend time with him and listen and hear what the best way of navigating our world is and our culture, and seek God and be willing to be fluid enough and to suspend our disbelief and give God a chance to really communicate with us directly. So anyhow, let's put our hand in the hand of the Master, Jesus Christ, and it's amazing the things you pick up with your hands when he is in you, how much more valuable those things are when you give things over to God and you seek him and you see with the freedom that in your mind that he wants you to give. Be free. Do not be entangled again in a yoke of bondage. Be free. In the name of Jesus Christ, I'm praying for you and for me. You pray for me, okay? Thanks. Bye. I'm putting my hand in the hand of the man.